Hello and welcome everyone to our Meal Solution Monday class for today. My name is Charlotte Shine. I'm one of the Giant Company dietitians. So happy February, everyone. And thank you for joining me for our first class of February Meal Solution class. And we have a wonderful recipe that we're going to make today. So our inspiration for the class series for this month is just providing easy recipes for the winter. And don't know if anybody got snow last night, but we definitely did. So it definitely still feels a little bit like winter. So today we're going to be making a Mediterranean pork chops with cucumber salad. Super easy and definitely delicious. Okay, so my poll question for today is, do you eat pork chops? So let me pull up that poll now. So I will say in our house, we do pork chops every once in a while, not always a weekly thing, but as you will see in a couple slides, I'll be going over the nutritional benefits of pork chops, and a really great option for a meal. All right, I'll give everybody a couple more seconds. All right, so let me end the poll and I will share the results. So it looks like a lot of you do eat pork chops, but then again, some of you do not. So hopefully this recipe will inspire you to purchase them and then make them. And there is a special deal in the weekly ad, which I will review as well. So thank you everybody for answering that question. And for those of you who you already eat pork chops, I think you'll really like this recipe. Okay. So a lot of different nutritional benefits of pork. So this information is actually off of the pork board, which has a lot of great information all about pork. So first, it's a great source of protein. So just in a 3-ounce serving, which the pork chops that we're going to be using today are about 4 ounces, but just 3-ounce serving, which is really just like the size of your palm, has 24 grams of protein. So if you're looking to get more protein into your diet, this pork is a great option. Also a good source of thiamine. So this is really important for metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fat, which are those macronutrients. So it actually, in a 3-ounce serving, provides 50% of the daily value. Also a good source of vitamin B6, which is important for our nervous system, provides 30% of the daily value in a 3-ounce serving. So again, a very small amount. And also, which is really important for this month, zinc, which is of course important for immune health, and all those germs that are still out there. So we want to help to boost the immune system, but a 3-ounce serving provides 25% of the daily value. And those are just a few of the many different nutritional benefits of pork, but just wanted to review those. So all those are great reasons to incorporate them into a meal, just at least, once a week or so. And so just wanted to review a little bit about pork chops for those of you who don't really eat them regularly. Pork chops have a tender texture with a mild flavor, so you can really season them with a lot of different things, but they're really good for grilling, baking, pan frying, or slow cooking. And what's nice about them, which will be in our recipe for today, making the pork chops, what you'll notice is that they cook relatively quick. So the pork chops that we're using today, we're just going to cook about 3 minutes on both sides, and it should be good to go. So that's always nice too. You don't have to wait around for a long time. Also pairs really well with Brussels sprouts, green beans, carrots, tomatoes. We're going to be using grape tomatoes in our recipe for today. Also really pairs well with some sweeter produce items, so apples, peaches, and pineapple. Some flavor, other flavors, honey, Dijon mustard, and then garlic. We'll be using garlic in our recipe today. And then cinnamon and nutmeg, which kind of reminds me of the winter time. Those are always good pairings, and even chili powder if you want to make it a little more like savory and heat. Also lemon zest, parsley, mint is always a good option, or pairing with pork chops, even sage and thyme as well. So just trying to get you thinking about different pairings and flavoring options for pork chops if you're using them already or do not eat them currently. But pork chops, really easy option to incorporate into a meal. So this is what I mentioned it a little bit earlier. So this is in the weekly ad for today. Or not for today, but for this week. It's buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value. So these pork chops. So if you do like this recipe of what we're making for today, definitely go out and, buy them, because you can always, make this ahead of time and eat it throughout the week too. But this is a really good deal in the weekly ad for this week. So just wanted to mention that too. So again, buy one, get one free of the pork chop value pack. So definitely, if you going to the grocery store this week, definitely check that out. All right, so this is our featured recipe of what we're making for today. Start with that. Okay, so our featured recipe: Mediterranean pork chops with cucumber salad. So that obviously is the finished product right there. So let's go over the recipe in a little more detail. So you can see not too many ingredients. So let me actually get my plate over here. So this recipe is four pork chops. So I have, these are about a 4-ounce serving, so about an inch thick. So these are 4 bone-in pork chops, center cut pork chops. So we're going to be putting them in the skillet for about 3 minutes on each side with some olive oil. And then in the meantime, I will cut up some grape tomatoes, and then we're going to be putting in the grape tomatoes and then garlic, covering it for about 2 minutes. And then it's also going to pair well with some cucumber tzatziki dip. So I have that right here, just like a yogurt and a little bit of a combination of cucumbers, garlic, white vinegar, and dill. So really delicious. So we're mixing that with the cucumber and a little bit of feta cheese. And I already cut up some pita, as you can see right here. So this will be my, we'll put the finished product on here, but I already cut up some pita bread, which always tastes good with, well, obviously like hummus, put tzatziki and cucumber mixture that we're going to be making. So that will be our cucumber salad. So this recipe, serves 4. So we have those 4 pork chops ready in about 15 minutes or so. And what's nice about it has 35 grams of protein. So again, if you're looking to increase your protein, this is definitely a good meal to do so. And okay. Oh, and it does get 1 guiding star. So again, for those of you who are new, guiding stars on recipes online or products in stores. So guiding stars is that nutritional navigation program. So the more stars that something has, the more nutritionally beneficial it is. So more vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, fiber, those types of things. So this recipe comes off our Savory website recipe database and does get 1 guiding star. All right, so that's a little bit about our recipe for today. So let's go ahead and get started on it. So I'll stop sharing my screen. All right, so you can see I have my skillet right here. So normally I kind of do my stove top, but this is really nice. I have everything on my countertop, which is really great. So I'm just going to turn this on. It's already a little bit warm. Yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and grab my pork chops. And I will say the pork chops, what I did before classes, I already put on some salt and pepper just to kind of season it a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put in some of my oil. And again, with the pork chops, we are cooking this about 3 minutes on either side or so. So let me go ahead and grab my pork chops. So let me put this in a little bit of a higher heat. So again, I think that will heat up. So let me go ahead. So you can see these are 4-ounce cuts. So hopefully this all fits in this skillet. We'll see. These are nice big pieces. So again, just putting this in my skillet for 3 minutes on either side. So I'll start it once I can hear the skillet heating up. All right, let me see if I can fit this last one here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in my sink since I have raw pork on it. Great. So I'm going to just go ahead and cover this. This will warm up in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to rinse my hands and just put a little bit of soap on them, or just wash them just real quick, 1 second. Just because I was not touching raw pork, but was holding the plate. So I'm going to just go ahead and just wash the hands a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do Trying to wait for that to sizzle a little bit. So I'm going to cut up my grape tomatoes. So you want about a cup. Or if you like more tomatoes, you can of course put even maybe a little bit more in. So I'm just going to half these. I think you can either do grape tomatoes. Of course, one of my favorite is cherry tomatoes because it just adds, I think, a little bit more sweetness. And I will say before class, I did already pre-wash these grape tomatoes. You're right. Yep, so it's slowly getting there. All right. So again, just 1 cup of our grape tomatoes in half. Just more. Let this sizzle a little bit. Has anybody, and you can put your answer in the chat, has anybody made a recipe like this before? See if anybody has made this before. And again, very easy recipe to make. Okay, good. Now I can hear it sizzling a little bit, so that's good. Just takes a little bit. Yep, sounds good. So I'm actually going to set my timer just for 3 minutes, and then I'll be back. All right. So it looks good. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, so I have about a cup of tomatoes right here, which again, after both sides are cooked at 3 minutes, I'm going to add in the tomato and 1 tablespoon of garlic. So of course, I probably talk about this in different classes, but one product that I really like at Giant Martin's is the Nature's Promise minced garlic. What's nice about it is you don't have to cut up the garlic so it gets on your fingers and then it smells and all that kind of stuff. So I always keep this in my refrigerator. It's just really nice. We have a minced garlic and then also a chopped garlic as well. But this is one of my staple items because I love garlic, but don't always like to just chop it up all the time because, you know, your hands can get a little bit smelly. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a tablespoon of that. So let me go ahead and I already pre-washed my cucumber. So the recipe calls for 1 cucumber chopped. Because we're going to mix this with our tzatziki dip. So the pork chops are cooking really well. I have about 1.5 minutes left. And again, one thing I mentioned with the pork chops is that they cook relatively quick, which is nice. Especially if you're trying to get dinner on the table fast. Okay, I'm going to add this to my bowl right here. This cucumber. All right. I'm also going to do this. So I think once this is done, we'll be able to, so about 1 minute left on the pork chops, we'll be able to flip it over. Put this into my bowl. You'll probably even chop these bits a little bit smaller, but you don't have to. We're just trying to create a cucumber salad. So we'll mix this with the tzatziki sauce, which is about a fourth of a cup. Let me go ahead. I'm going to just go grab some tongs. Be right there. Hopefully, let me turn this down a little bit. About 20 seconds or so. It's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and flip this a while. Yep, so this definitely cooks pretty quick, which is nice. All right. Want to do another 3. So another 3 minutes. I'm just setting my timer. Okay. Let me go ahead and set grapes to the side. So I'm going to bring over my tzatziki dips. I don't know if you've ever seen this in store, but again, it's a combination of yogurt and different flavors like cucumber, garlic, white vinegar, and dill. There's a lot of great flavor going on in there. We're going to add 1/4 of a cup into our cucumber bowl. This is just kind of creating, the cucumber salad that you'll have on the side. All right, so let me get a spoon. My 4th cup. And we'll see if this covers everything really well. I'm just going to mix this just until it's coated well. Let me just do just a little bit more. Actually, I think that's covering it pretty well. Here. So we're just covering the cucumbers with the tzatziki sauce. I'm just going to set this over here. So on our timer, about a minute and a half. Go ahead and cover this. So once the 3 minutes is done, we're going to again add in our grape tomatoes and then a tablespoon of the minced garlic, which again, I'm going to use on this, one of my favorite products. So a tablespoon in there, cover it, and then another 2 minutes. And then it will be complete. So definitely not too hard to do. Let me see how this is cooking. It's looking good. Let me actually turn this up just a little bit. Great. Might actually flip them over after the 3 minutes. Just flip them over one more time, and then I'll add the cucumber and garlic. Right. Another 40 seconds. And again, one thing I did before class too was I cut up my pita bread. So this is just like a naan bread. It always tastes good with like a Mediterranean dish. I always use pita bread if I want to like have a snack with hummus. Of course, we carry a lot of different hummus products, a lot of different flavors, but cut that up before class. You don't necessarily have to add pita, but it's a nice little touch. Actually, what I'll do, let me go ahead and just add some of this cucumber salad onto the plate real quick while that's cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the side. You can put your answer in the chat. Does anybody like tzatziki sauce? Let's see. Yep, looks like a lot of you do. I definitely really like it. I always like dill. I can always taste the dill. I like that flavor. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn this over one more time with this. This is cooking really well. All right, so I'm also gonna add in my grape tomatoes. Then we'll do a tablespoon of garlic. My tablespoon, measuring spoon right here. Get these and just kind of mix this around a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cover this for about 2 minutes. Where the recipe suggests until it's wilted, the tomatoes are wilted down a little bit. So let me go ahead and set my timer. All right, so just about 2 minutes. Let me actually a little bit. So once that 2 minutes is done, we're going to put it out, or we're going to plate it. So we'll put one on here. And then we're also going to top with one of my, also another favorite ingredient, feta cheese, which I think with any kind of Mediterranean dish, I always like to add feta cheese when I do like the pita bread hummus, and then a little bit of feta cheese is always my favorite. And you don't need a lot to go a long way with the flavor. So we're going to be adding some of that. So it looks like our tomatoes are getting, or not shrinking, but cooking down a little bit. So that's good. Yep. So it looks like a lot of you like that tzatziki sauce, which I always like too. Okay. About a minute. So, yep, so tomatoes are definitely cooking down, and the garlic. So let me just move some of this stuff out of the way. Putting water in the sink. Plate. About 30 seconds. The tomatoes looking good. And again, if you want to use grape tomatoes, it's fine. I think even a cherry tomato would be good too. So someone asked, is there feta that doesn't taste as salty? There might be maybe lower sodium options and maybe taste a little bit less salty. But that's a good question. And there's our timer. So let's see, could you add the feta to the hot dish and let it melt a bit? I think you could do that. I think that would be fine if you want to. Okay, so let's take this off. So those tomatoes are looking really good. Let's go ahead and plate one of these. We're going to add some of these delicious cooked down tomatoes with garlic. Okay, I'm going to turn down the heat on this so they don't overcook. Actually, let me leave that uncovered. And then our last ingredient, our feta cheese. Like that. All right, so this is our Mediterranean pork chop with cucumber salad. So you can see not too hard to make, especially for, let me actually come closer, for everybody who is busy, I'm sure. I know I'm always, I feel like I'm on the go. But it's a super delicious, a lot of flavor, even though it didn't look like there was a whole lot of ingredients. But yeah, hopefully this gives everybody another recipe idea. If you are eating pork chops, if you're not, give it a try, because in the weekly ad, there is buy one, get one free. So definitely check that out next time that you're at Giant and Martin's. All right. So someone asked, can you substitute tomatoes in the recipe or use a different kind of tomato? So you can use a different kind of tomato. If you want to use a different kind of tomato because you're worried about maybe the acidity or gives you heartburn, you can always incorporate a yellow tomato, which is a little bit more less acidic. I'm trying to think. Probably even if you want to incorporate maybe some type of red bell pepper, or you probably substitute whatever kind of vegetable that you want. But if you're concerned of the acidity, maybe in a tomato, a yellow tomato is a good option as well. I always like yellow tomatoes. That's a great question. All right.